So, I'll tell you one other story because it keeps coming up for me. And so, and I probably told it a few months ago or so, but it's not so bad to hear it again. There is a Russian man who helps people quit smoking. Have people heard of him? Called the Crazy Russian, or they call him the Crazy Russian. Okay. What he does, I don't know what he does exactly, but it's some kind of, it's not hypnotic, but he reinforces for people. And so he helps people work on smoking, food addiction, alcohol addiction. What else do we get addicted to? A little bit of everything addiction. Okay. And he's over in Brookline. People travel. When I went with my daughter, people had driven all the way from Ohio to meet with him. Okay. And what's interesting, this came up when my daughter was at college a few years ago, and she had like the freshman thing where you put on 10 pounds or something, and she was very upset about it. And but she wasn't fat, she was just solid. She's been a gymnast for 15 years, so she was very solid. She stopped her gymnastics and she kept eating, and so she put on a few pounds. And so she called me up and said, Dad, the Crazy Russian does this thing for people that are obese, and I would like to go see him. Would you go with me? And I said, sure, I could stand to lose a few pounds. You know, the hell. And she was very, you know, she was very shy about going, but very much wanted to go. And so she made an appointment. Now, you make an appointment with this guy to quit smoking or something like that, and you come in a group at first. And so in our group, it was to basically the obesity group, losing weight. And so there were maybe 20 people in the group, and you have to make appointments months in advance. You just can't, you know. I mean, he's very well known. And so we went in, and there are maybe 20 people there. And one of them is my daughter, myself, and one other young lady that was maybe 20, 21 years old that wasn't overweight either. Okay? And then there were a bunch of people that were like 300 pounds, 400 pounds. I mean, could barely, I mean, just like they sat on these chairs and they just flowed over the sides of the chairs. I mean, they were huge. And this Russian fellow comes in, and he starts talking a mile a minute in this heavy Russian accent. And every once in a while, he'd look over at my daughter or the other girl, and he'd say, "Why are you here? Why are you here? You are not fat!" You know, like that. and then he'd go back into this monologue. And the monologue had to have lasted a good hour and a half. It was long. And it was all about, he talked about how it's easier to help people quit smoking because you can just quit smoking and stop. But you can't help people stop eating or they'll just die. That was about a 20-minute talk, just to that one point. But the interesting thing that he said in the whole process was, at one point he said, "I'm going to give you all the secret of life, the secret of happiness, the secret to success." Okay? And so I'm like, wow, lay it on me, bro. But what he said was, the only thing you have to do is do what you decide to do. The only thing you have to do in your life is do what you decide to do. It doesn't mean that you can't change it at some point, but it means that you decide and do it, decide and do it, decide and do it. Now, what's interesting about that is that all of us carry, and he didn't put it in this terms, but we all carry a very interesting backseat driver. This blah, 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 blah. You suck. I hate you. Oh my God, you've screwed up again. You'll never be good at what you want to be good at. You're blah, 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 blah. Okay. All the time. The one thing that gives that backseat driver power is if you don't follow through and do what you decide you're going to do. That's what empowers a backseat driver. If you just do it, this backseat driver gradually loses energy. Now you can't fight the backseat driver because that would just be one desire fighting another. But what happens is the investment stops. The investment in having another opinion all the time. Checking yourself all the time. Wavering. Okay. That decisiveness in Zen comes, we talk about from here, from your hara. Decide and do it. Okay? Now, if you decide and do it and you're not successful, that's no problem. Because you just get up and try again. So you don't get on yourself for failing or making a mistake. Just get up and try again. But over a period of time, the pattern shifts. And then as the koans come up, addressing them in a natural, clear way shifts by itself. So I hope as we all practice together, we can support that approach. Cutting through what we think we are and immersing ourselves in the question of what am I? So, it's very nice to be with you tonight.